This is Cronkite News.
In the last 2 weeks, COVID numbers skyrocketed to an all-time high across the country. So where does Arizona stand? Plus, 2 monuments to the Confederacy were removed from state land. But will they come back? And Comet Neowise is making its closest approach to Earth tonight. We'll tell you the best time to turn your eyes to the skies.
Cronkite News starts now.
Welcome to this Cronkite News Update. I'm Abigail Verwick. In the past 2 weeks, the U.S. recorded more than 915,000 new cases of coronavirus. That's more than the cases reported across the country for the whole month of June. The number signals that the U.S. is still far from containing the virus, which is overwhelming hospitals and testing labs. The spread has promised a bleak outlook for the months ahead, according to both health officials and the president. And experts have highlighted the actual number of infections is likely much higher than the reported cases. This morning, the Arizona Health Department reported 89 new coronavirus fatalities, pushing the state's pandemic death toll over 3,000. Meanwhile, one of the state's largest labs say they have a backlog of tens of thousands of COVID tests, and people are having to wait up to 2 weeks to get their results. Yesterday, Sonora Quest reported they have 61,700 tests that still need to be processed. Earlier this month, Governor Doug Ducey announced that millions would be invested into getting new equipment to increase testing capacity and shorten the turnaround time. The ultimate goal is to be able to test 35,000 people a day and provide test results in as little as 24 hours by the end of July. Governor Ducey made another announcement this afternoon about schools reopening in the fall. The announcement came after school leaders, educators, and public health advocates called for him to rely on public health data when deciding the in-person instruction start date. Ducey confirmed he is using the data, but said he will not push the start of school back. Instead, his Arizona Open for Learning plan will provide parents with several options to ensure students receive a full academic year of education. He said he plans to invest a total of $440 million in federal dollars to our schools and give school leaders the flexibility and public health guidance to make the best decisions for their students. He reinforced that each school district and charter school needs to begin teacher-led distance learning by the first day of their traditional instructional calendar. For some districts, that date lands in July. For others, August. Ducey did, however, extend his executive order to keep gyms, bars, nightclubs, and water parks closed another 2 weeks. Unemployment benefits rose last week for the first time in nearly 4 months. Jobless claims increased to 1.4 million as the $600 weekly federal aid payment is set to expire by the end of the week. Prior to the pandemic, unemployment has never exceeded 700,000. Right now, members of Congress are negotiating another aid package that could extend the $600 benefit, but on a lower level, at $200 a week. As the date of Arizona's primary nears, an executive order issued Wednesday will allocate more resources to local election departments to ensure voter and poll worker safety. The order will permit state-owned facilities to be used as voting sites and provide protective gear and cleaning supplies. It will also allow state employees to act as poll workers on election day without losing pay or using leave time. Arizona's primary is August 4th. Mail-in ballots must arrive at county election offices by 7 p.m. on election day. So July 29th is the latest you should wait to get your ballots in the mail. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected everyone on many levels, leading to an economic crisis, mainly in underserved communities. But a group of Tempe women is working to help meet the most basic needs of feminine hygiene. Frankie McLister explains what this group is doing.
It definitely makes it easier to be a woman out here and homeless.
This is just a portion of a Woman for Woman public service announcement. She is just one of the thousands of homeless females helped by local group Woman for Woman Tempe.
Our bags look like this, and they're bags of pads and tampons.
They started helping women that couldn't afford basic female needs.
So women have to decide many times whether to buy food for their babies or to buy these things.
But now with COVID-19 in the air, Woman for Woman Tempe is also helping those underserved communities, especially those who have felt large effects of job loss.
We have a lot of minorities, a lot of Hispanic women, a lot of Native American women.
According to the Pew Research Center, Hispanic women, immigrants, young adults, and those with less education have been hit the hardest with job losses due to the pandemic in the United States. The Arizona Commerce Authority reports that during the week of June 6, 33% of unemployment claims were from Hispanics.
I wish more people supported this program because it does a lot of help.
Woman for Woman Tempe began in August of 2017 and now works with about 25 organizations in the Valley.
We distribute them through Guadalupe Family Resource Center, which is Yaqui Indians and also Hispanics, people living there.
Wright remembers one case that just completely broke her heart.
We had a young woman in here in her 20s who was so thrilled we had bags because she had been cutting up pillowcases for pads. And I can't even imagine being in that position.
Wright told Cronkite News that the need is there and they'll be there as well.
Because this is very much a passion. This is very much a passion for all of us who are on the board.
In Tucson, Frankie McClister, Cronkite News.
According to a new poll, 3 out of 4 Americans, including a majority of Republicans, favor requiring people to wear face coverings while outside their homes. The poll by the Associated Press Nork Center for Public Affairs Research also found about 2/3 of Americans disapprove of how President Donald Trump is handling the outbreak. A Confederate monument outside the Arizona Capitol building has been returned to the organization that gave it to the state. In the 1960s, the United Daughters of the Confederacy gifted the statue to the state of Arizona. The group recently sent a letter to the Arizona Department of Administration asking that both the monument in Wesley Bolin Plaza as well as the Jefferson Davis Highway marker in Cold Canyon be returned to them. The letter says that both need to be repaired. But in quote, due to the current political climate, we believe it unwise to repair them where they are located. They also stated that this would release the state of any liability associated with these monuments.
You know, we're excited to see the monuments removed from the state capitol and the second monument removed from Gold Canyon. But, you know, I think it's also important to remind folks that, you know, we have more work to do. And to remind folks that Governor Ducey did not take bold action to make this happen. You know, a month ago, you know, more than 200 Arizona veterans signed a letter calling on Governor Ducey by executive order to remove, you know, all of the Confederate monuments here in Arizona. And as far as I know, there's at least 2 other monuments on state property right now.
The monuments will be relocated to private property at no cost to the state. But what's not clear is whether after repairs are made, the monuments will go back up. Cronkite News contacted the State Department of Administration, who explained it will be up to the Daughters of the Confederacy whether to gift back the monuments. Right now, mayors in multiple cities, including here in Arizona, are objecting to President Trump's plans to send federal officers in to fight crime. This comes after Trump announced a plan yesterday to surge federal law enforcement officers to Chicago and other cities, describing those areas as rife with crime and violence. Before he was president, Trump blamed his predecessor, former President Barack Obama, for Chicago's crime problem.
So why was it the president's fault then, but it's not your fault now?
He could have solved the problem, and he didn't.
Trump now blaming Democrats at the local level, making the topic a campaign issue as he runs on a law and order theme. But local leaders don't want that help, including Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego and Tucson Mayor Regina Romero, who both joined more than a dozen mayors across the U.S. in requesting the Trump administration to stop using federal forces to quell protest activity. In a letter sent to the Trump administration, they described the development of federal agents against protesters as an abuse of power. This effort by the Trump administration has been met with criticism and resistance, sparking multiple lawsuits. MLB is taking a swing at returning to play. Today is opening day for the 2020 season. Spring training was shut down March 13th because of the pandemic, postponing opening day until July. Here's a look at today's schedule. 4 teams will open the season. The remainder will wait until Friday. First up to the plate, the reigning World Series champion Washington Nationals will face off against the New York Yankees. Next up to bat, the Los Angeles Dodgers take a swing at their rivals, the Giants. And tomorrow, the Arizona Diamondbacks open their season against the San Diego Padres. D-backs manager Torey Lovullo says the team is ready to get back in action.
You know, I like the looseness of what our guys have been going through. We took some ground balls as well. I think these guys are generally excited. So, you know, if we haven't talked about it or gone out and executed it, now isn't the time to force it on them. I just want them to be themselves, relax, have a couple good nights rest, be ready for Friday.
D-backs fans can tune into the game of Friday on Fox Sports Arizona. First pitch is at 6 to 10 p.m. Pacific time. Here are 3 more sports stories we're tracking today. First up, the Dodgers finalized a home run contract with Mookie Betts Wednesday. The 4-time All-Star and 2018 American League MVP finalized the 12-year contract extension worth a reported $360 million. Betts turned down a reported $300 million deal with his former team, the Red Sox, in February for a landmark trade to the Dodgers. The extension talks began in March prior to the pandemic. The financial implications that MLB teams will face from the pandemic are uncertain, but Mookie is a bet the Dodgers are willing to make. Second, Phoenix Mercury players will pay tribute to the life of Breonna Taylor on their jerseys. A nameplate saying Breonna Taylor will be added below each player's last name and number. Mercury players will warm up in Black Lives Matter shirts with the phrase "Say her name" on the back. The Mercury's new look will be on display this Saturday against the Los Angeles Sparks. And third, the National Women's Soccer League welcomes a new team to their roster. The NWSL announced Angel City Media Group will own the new women's franchise based out of LA. Investors in Angel City Media Group include A-list actress Natalie Portman and tennis champion Serena Williams. The majority women-owned team also includes fellow soccer stars Mia Hamm and Abby Wambach. The NWSL has a 22% increase in attendance since the 2019 Women's World Cup victory. The team has yet to be named and will hit the field in 2022. Monsoon storms are finally here. Check out some of the incredible video and images being shared on social media right now. Kevin posted this, showing a stalled vehicle in front of the Tucson Mall because of flooding this morning. And look at the lightning over Maricopa last night. Lori captured the ominous clouds rolling into Green Valley before 10 a.m. And Suzanne tweeted a video of rain coming down hard in southern Arizona. Forecasters say scattered thunderstorms are possible in the Phoenix area as well, later today and into tonight. Arizona sky watchers have been over the moon about a comet that has graced the night sky since July 11th. Cronkite News reporter Sam Brennan has some insight on the best way to catch a glimpse.
Amy Meinzer and her team at the University of Arizona first observed the comet in late March using the Near-Earth Object Wide Field Infrared Survey Explorer, or Neowise satellite.
We're specifically interested in what we call near-Earth objects. So these are the asteroids and comets that come within about 1.3 times the distance of the Earth to the Sun.
The 3-mile-wide ball of ice, dust, and rock survived a close approach to the Sun and is now headed towards the outer edge of the solar system. Unlike a shooting star, the comet is not gone in an instant.
And this comet, even though it's traveling at enormous speed, and you'd think, given this incredible speed, that it would be gone in an instant. But space is so big that even at that incredible speed, it still takes a appreciable number of days for it to traverse the sky.
The comet has been visible for several days now, but it will be closest to the Earth Thursday. Lowell Observatory's senior astronomer David Schleicher says just because the comet is closest to Earth Thursday, that does not mean it will be at its brightest.
Because it's moving away from the sun, it has been systematically getting fainter.
Now there's no need to worry. Schleicher says at its closest point, comet Neowise will be roughly 60 million miles from Earth. So here's how to view the comet on your own. Go out on a night with very little to no cloud coverage, get away from city light, and wait until at least an hour after sunset. For the best view, use binoculars, then look to the northwest for the Big Dipper.
If the Big Dipper is visible by then, it is directly on a line between the bowl of the Dipper and the horizon, just coming straight down.
Meinzer says the comet will continue to be visible for quite a while, but stargazers should get out within the next few days because the moon will start to brighten the sky, making the comet harder to spot with each passing day.
This comet is one and done. It orbits the sun about every 6,000 or 7,000 years or something like that. So this is our one opportunity to see it before it's gone for a really, really long time.
Sam Brennan, Cronkite News.
Meinzer says stargazers can also look to the south to see Jupiter and its moons, which are showing brightly in the night sky. That's it for Cronkite News. For Arizona news updates throughout the day, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. and find us online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.